the actor in you has to be excited before the woman in you. It made us feel good about the fact that there were so many women around and that you were not just, an odd, like in the days when you and your hairdresser would be the only women around.
Teenagers, constantly on the phone. I just want them to know that, just be aware of what you're doing and what you're looking at, what you're reading, and how are you letting it affect you? Because affect you, it will. Hi, I'm Juhi Chawla.
Hi, I'm Soha.
I'm Kritika Kamra.
And I'm Shahana Goswami.
Like, share and subscribe to ETimes.
Hello everyone, welcome to ETimes, and as you all can see, I have such beautiful ladies today sitting with me. Hello.
Hello.
And I'm so happy it's all colors.
Yes.
And you.
Really very
Yes,
colorful.
olive. Yeah, and then we have all other colors. But, Hush Hush, when I saw the trailer and, I got really excited about this interview because it's like an all-women cast. And, that only in itself felt so empowering to me. So I want to know from each one of you, when the script came to you, what was the first thought? Was it that, it's going to be an all-women cast and the director is a woman, so I should take it on, or something else apart from that?
I think generally when I came to know of the storyline, that itself, it actually didn't hit me as, it's with women and about women. That was not the first thing that came to mind. It just happened to be so, and rightfully they pointed out as well during one of our interviews. It was just the whole way these four friends, I'd say, interact and what all gets revealed through it all and what all happens, and say, speaking for myself, just playing this character and just such an unusual end to her. So I was like, oh, okay. And Tanuja was very convinced that I should do this role. So some of all that came together for me.
Yeah, when I was speaking to Tanuja, she said that she was the one who went to each one of the, different characters. And then she made a mental note of each one of you even before reaching out to you guys. So, Soha.
And what were those notes? I didn't
She wants to cast you.
Oh.
Though that mental note. She'd seen some of the work and she'd already made a mental note that, she's going to cast.
She's very convincing,
Yeah.
Tanuja. She can get you to do lots of things that you wouldn't normally do. And I don't know how. She's just got some kind of magical skill about her. And that's why also one of the main attractions of being a part of this project was to work with her. Yeah. Because the most thrilling thing really for an actor is to put yourselves in the hands of somebody who will look after you. But you don't have to worry about other things, does this make sense? Is this character being justified? When you're working with a good director, those questions will be looked after. And you can just focus on feeling and performing. So I felt quite liberated and challenged at the same time to be working with her. And, to answer your question about women, it was not like it even struck me. Like Juhi just said, it was not like I thought, oh, yes, I want to be part of a social movement. No, it's wonderful that we're also representing women. And all of us would be very happy to do that. But at the end of the day, I think we also just want to be a part of a good story and, to deliver a good performance. So the actor in you has to be excited before the woman in you when it comes to your profession, I think. But it certainly made us feel good about the fact that there were so many women around and that you were not just, an odd, like in the days when you and your hairdresser would be the only women around. It wasn't like that.
For you, Kritika, what was the first thought?
They've said it all, actually. The first thought was, I read it first and then met Tanuja ma'am. So the story really intrigued me. And you've seen the first two episodes.
I have.
So even while reading, I had this feeling of what's going to happen next and how does this all unfold, and the way it kind of the last act of this season particularly is quite shocking. So that had a deep impact on me. And then, of course, Tanuja ma'am, she's wonderful. I liked her work. I knew her as this wonderful maker and writer. But after having worked with her, I can say that she's taught me so much. I think I've learned so much on the shoot of this show, and I want to carry it forward to whatever I do next.
Yeah.
So it's been a great learning experience. And then to be able to work with these wonderful women who are also such great actors, and everybody is so good in their, part, that when I got to know, who's playing what, it just made sense to me.
Shahana, for you?
Yeah, same. I think it was just a really well written show, and I'm always appreciative and fascinated when I see characters that are written well without where it seems effortless. But you know, as someone part of the business, that it takes a lot to carve out characters that are full and that have a sense of reality, because especially when you're doing something like a crime drama, there are a lot of things that you have a tendency to do out of convenience because of the narrative. But to keep it realistic both in terms of technicality, emotional truth, psychological truth, and to still have an emotional pull to it is not an easy task. And I think that, to begin with, was fascinating to me to read, to see that you've handled each and every character with a lot of grace, with a lot of importance, and with the correct amount of honesty, and where nobody is propped up or pulled down strategically or manipulatively, or it's very realistic, and also the fact that you have a bunch of women who are as characters not at all similar, but they are friends. And that's something that we see in life, or not. Even if you look in our own lives, our best friends are not necessarily like us.
No.
And not similar, but somehow in cinema people tend to show similar kind of people always. And this was again something that I found intriguing, that people are of different ages, and but the bond between them is that of people. You lose a sense of age and chronology when you are close to somebody. It doesn't matter. So just the fascination of that, and of course Tanuja ma'am was somebody that I definitely wanted to work with. All these people, I mean, it was just something that was screaming a big yes when you came across it.
As you said, the characters are so beautifully sketched out, so that made you say yes to it, of course. But now I want to know that all of you on set, so how was the bonding like? Did you guys have a lot of fun? Because all women on set, I can already imagine how it would be.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Did you guys discuss a lot of clothes, a lot of online shopping or stuff like that? I want to know that.
Not at all.
Yeah, food. Or what was the discussion?
Food was always a
Food
thing.
is very important.
Food is very important.
Well,
There was always discussion.
It doesn't
on
show
food,
on some of them, but
Well, clearly, all of you doesn't show.
No, we had some really deep conversations, in fact, I feel. That a lot of... Also, this was in the middle of the pandemic. We were in a tight bio bubble, all of us in Gurgaon. So, we ended up spending a lot of quality time with each other, which was great.
Absolutely. And Juhi ma'am, coming to you, of course, it's the OTT debut, and your fans are eagerly waiting to, see you. So I want to know that, is there some kind of parallel that you would draw from, working in cinema versus OTT, movies versus OTT, or, what is the kind of difference that you really feel now that, OTT has
well,
happened?
yeah, I'll just say that this was the first time to step into this kind of world and this kind of working. On one level, it's the same because it's filming and the way you film, it's the same cameras, DOPs, everything, directors, all that. But certain things were different for me, and I'm happy to share them. That, I was taken aback with, I'd always heard television people work hard. I didn't know people in the web series work so much harder.
Yeah.
Because, we had breaks because there was, COVID happened, or, you had to take little breaks in between. And we were shooting in Delhi. So everybody had to return to Mumbai, then again, come back. But to just think that so many days of shooting and intense work it is.
Very intense.
Oof. The other, what was it? Oh gosh, it slipped my mind. So I was like, this is different for me from films, not anything else. Just that films are, it's 2 hours and you're done. But here you're telling even just the writing of 8 episodes or 10 episodes, it's like writing 3 films together.
Yeah. And you never get the time to shoot that you would for 3 films.
Yeah, and my gosh. So how much, as actors, okay, hamara kaam hota hai, but I think about those people who've actually sat down and put this together.
Yeah.
To engage someone for so many hours.
For so many hours.
And to engage them, you want them actually not to be able
and
to
it's
walk away
very
from the screen.
close, you're interacting with the fans very closely because
Right,
it's not
in their
like
house,
You're in their
yeah,
homes.
yeah,
It's an intimate
yeah,
experience.
it's a very intimate experience. So, have you thought of all that?
Well, I have. This time I wondered about it. I was like, how do they do it? So now I respect them more because, yes, I've just seen how intensely they work.
Absolutely. Well, I also want to wrap up and ask the last question, which is about social media. So I want to know that because it's obviously coming on OTT, and you know, a lot of us are, as we all know, hooked to our phones and everything. So how much of importance does social media have for all of you in your lives? Instagram reels, numbers, views, all of that. Do you ever go and check?
I think
You
Soha
want-
should answer.
Start from the other end.
You want to start?
Start.
I enjoy social media. I think there's always advantages and disadvantages of everything that human beings have ever invented. And you can very easily lean on the disadvantages and it can be very destructive. But because I'm generally a person who has a lot of moderation and control, I'm not dependent on my phone. There's a lot of non-screen time also because I have a young child at home. And there's a lot of live entertainment. So I feel like I use it to my advantage. It's also a source of income and financial independence and professional engagements, which is very useful. The rabbit hole that I don't go down is, I see a lot of people who they pick up their phone to check something and then they get into social media and they've forgotten to do what they picked up the phone to do, and suddenly 3 hours have lapsed. And of course, you don't buy into the fact that
Okay.
yes, I didn't want to say, but yes. And you're like, hello, can you tell me we were going to order something? You've gone somewhere else. And also, of course, you can't buy into the fact that everything that you see on social media, it's not a true representation of life. And it's not a replacement for friendship, communication, the physical interaction. During some things like a pandemic and a lockdown, it's been amazing because it's helped people stay connected as well. It's a source of information. But verify your facts. Everything out there is not accurate. Don't lean on it entirely.
What was that laughter about?
Now reveal.
That is me who goes down that rabbit hole every other night. I start somewhere and then I read I don't know, I go into deep dark alleys, not exactly dark, no dark web, but
But I also think that there's always, there's a, there are two sides to it. There's a lot of information, a lot of things out there that I have access to. Like I personally like Instagram a lot, and I follow a lot of people who I don't know, whose work comes up. I also have a secret account where I do all the scrolling wala thing, where you're
Because
just
you're too
like,
embarrassed to do it as Shahana.
no, because I don't want that to be on my feed of. Then I have to switch and go to that one. It has to be the mood for that. When I open my page, then I have the things I want to see, which will be photographers, nature, art, some close friends, people who take interesting aesthetic images, whatever. Then when I'm sitting in
Alter ego.
then when you're in your loo, you're doing
And then
something
who you
alone, then then I do all the Hollywood, Bollywood, just going through the usual stuff. But
I think it's great. From news to content to fashion, everything breaks on social media first now. That's where you get all your
At
scoop.
SAK Patodi.
So
Wow, that was really
from Hush Hush on 22nd September, it's become a
Just personal.
But Juhi ma'am, I want to know from you, how do you see social media as?
Oh God.
Do you see social media, ma'am?
Do you
You're
go
on
and ever
social
take a
media, you have an
selfie and
Instagram
you're like, I want to post this, or maybe anything?
I think I'm there, but not quite there. I have to admit, I'm cautious of it because like you said, it happens to me sometimes. Like you exactly and rightly said, I picked up the phone for something and ended up doing 10 minutes later. I still hadn't done what I picked it up for.
Yeah, all the time.
So I am very wary of it and very conscious that what am I doing with it?
Yeah.
Where did the time go? So I'm like that. And I'm also just like out of concern because I'm a mother and I see my children, luckily for them, when they were growing up, when they were 10 or 11, there was not so much the phone. But now when they're the teenagers and all, constantly on the phone, I see that. I have seen that change. And just for kids out there, I just want them to know that, you know, just be aware of what you're doing and what you're looking at, what you're reading, and how are you letting it affect you? Because affect you, it will.
Yeah.
So just be very aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't lose yourself in it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this lovely conversation. We had conversation about everything from the series to social media. And I hope that this episode actually becomes a big thing on social media. We talk a lot about it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.